Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel if you're new, and welcome back if you are already a subscriber. Thank you guys so much for the support that you guys have been giving. I am loving it, appreciating it. Thank you all so much. And without further ado, happy May the 4th, everybody. If you're watching this not on May the 4th, May the 4th be with you. Anyway, today we are going to be doing a 12 by 12 of some Galaxy's Edge photos that I took in 2022. So 2021 and 2022 trips, I actually got to be in Galaxy's Edge for a little while, or for a day, not a whole day maybe, but at least in that park. Both of those trips. So I'm hoping that those photos can carry me for a while. I do love doing paper crafting or May the 4th kind of themed content, as well as Revenge of the 6th, which I am hopefully, if I can keep my collective crap together and stay on schedule, I'll have that up as well. So you'll have little extra bonus videos because I am a Star Wars nerd and I like doing this. So it's just my way of kind of celebrating. Another way I am quote unquote celebrating is I am using the month of May to kind of just start chronologically from the beginning of the Star Wars franchise and work my way through. I feel like I did this a while back ago, like a long while back ago for some reason. And I don't know where I stopped per se, but I just kind of fell off. But one thing I'm really kind of endeavoring to do is do it this time, but check out a bunch of things that I haven't watched. So that usually falls in the category of like the cartoon things that I just haven't seen. So like Bad Batch, Clone Wars. I know the story, but I just haven't watched that content. So hopefully I can make it through and we'll just kind of see how the journey goes. But without further ado, let's actually get to what we're working on. So as far as everything goes, I do want to give major shout out to Shamel Lane, because that is who kind of I scrap lifted from a spread that she did. If you've never checked her out, Shamel Lane is freaking phenomenal. You can look her up on YouTube. I think she does live streams almost every single morning, or has like literally a real-time spread up every single day. I'm pretty sure. But because she's on London time and I'm on the East Coast of the US, I'm usually not up for that. I mean, I'm up, but like I can't always catch it. But she's got tons of inspiration over there. So if you're a scrapbooker or a project lifer, definitely head over there. She does tend to do 12 by 12 spreads. But what's really cool is her composition and how she puts it together and just the pattern she uses. She's also a fellow Disney bounder, and actually the reason and the person that got me into it more than anybody, the two people that got me into it the most are my friend Ashley McCullough and Shamel Lane. So Ashley is not a scrapbooker. She actually works for PPG and she's fucking awesome. But I decided to kind of scrap lift one of Shamel Lane's because I had 3 photos and I really wanted to use all 3, but I was really struggling with not using kind of a layout I had done in the past. So tried something new and I am so happy with how this came out. I really, really am. So first things first, this background paper is so old. I pulled it out of my stash and I am absolutely obsessed with it. I think that it was the perfect background paper because my outfit is like super 70s vibe with that corduroy and the mock neck. And I've got like, you can't really see it in the pictures, but I've got this like bandana that's rolled into a headband basically. And it's mustardy, orangey with these little white polka dots. I was actually bounding as Merida, while I was in Galaxy's Edge, and I just, if you look, like, you can see the straps of my backpack that was like a bear, super freaking cute. If you have been hanging out on my Instagram, then you would have kind of seen bits and pieces of this outfit already. Back in March, I kind of just recycled that photo for my Merida Bound prompt. I think it was for Oscar nominated or Oscar winners. But yes, so I absolutely love how that whole 70s came to play. I was so bummed that I couldn't use that fighter jet paper. It made me so sad, but it was just so light and I needed something that would pack a little bit more of a punch. So you'll see me switch out to like a kind of orangey paper. We'll get to that. So the wood grain paper, first of all, I mounted all of my photos onto the same white strip. Normally I would kind of mount each one and then kind of funky catty corner them. And I really wanted to push myself out of my comfort zone a little bit. And so I did. And also keep in mind, that was a tall order. That's the orange paper I'm going to end up using, in case I forget to mention that. Obviously, I'll know, but just saying. So I normally catty corner them and make them all funky. And I wanted to push myself out of the comfort zone, which was a very tall order, mainly because of the fact that it's been ages since I've dabbled in my paper crafting. I'm definitely not as up to date on it as I have been in the past. I have not been regular about posting. I would love to get to a place where that happens again, but right now I just kind of had to take a breath, dive in, and go with the flow. So mounted them all, and then I used a wood grain paper to do on the back, and I really liked all those squares. That's from an old Amy Tangerine collection, but I believe I bought it as like a thinner open stock paper from Joann's. So I haven't popped into a Joann's and looked at their open stock recently. They haven't switched anything over in about a million years, so there's been no need for me to go in there. As far as the polka dot paper goes, so that's where it got fun. I pulled from the Vicki Boutin collection. I don't specifically know which one it is, though. I know it's not like Color Story or anything newer. This is going to be like one of those older paper packs. I'm pretty sure I picked it up from like Tuesday morning. That orange paper that I did end up going with instead of the fighter jets is an Amy Tangerine scrap that I had, and it just happened to work, and so I used that. And then continuing with some Amy Tangerine goodness is this awesome like script photo. I also didn't realize how bright this setting is. I might see if I can adjust that, and so if it's not super like hurting everyone's eyeballs. I have been having a lot of issues with like my camera focusing correctly, so I'm really sorry if anything's come up weird in the photos or in the videos, not photos, lately. So I'll see if I can adjust that a little bit in editing. So if it doesn't look weird, it worked. If it does look weird, it didn't work. We're just going to put it like that. After mounting this on 6,000,001 pieces of paper, I decided I was going to start embarking on the journaling. Now, if you guys have been around for a while, then you know I absolutely hate using my handwriting on a 12 by 12 spread. I don't know why. I think more often than not, I'm just really afraid that it's going to look really crappy and that I will have spent a fair amount of time creating this beautiful spread only to have it ruined by my icky handwriting. I don't always think that my handwriting is icky, and I do truly love it on Project Life, but this was just, I get really persnickety when it comes to my actual 12 by 12s because it is a lot of work, and I just usually want it to look really, really, really polished. Before I embarked on the journaling, because I thought I had a pretty solid idea of what I wanted to do, and that was to use that denim paper. And what I wanted to do was type out my journaling, print it out, and do it like in strips. Except for, I guess I haven't used my printer in a while, and so the ink has kind of like dried up in there. And after multiple very frustrated attempts and some swear words, no dice on that. So I decided go back to the drawing board, and to be completely honest, and you'll see me try to write on it a couple times. It just didn't work, and I don't think it would have shown up on that denim paper as well as I wanted it to, which was a super bummer because I would have liked to have used that maybe somewhere else if I knew earlier on that that wasn't going to be an option. I wanted to use this little Batu, or not Batu, the Black Spire Outpost. And so I kept playing with that 3x4 card and that transparent or the vellum piece, and it ends up not working. I know you guys, at least I can't really see it on camera, but it didn't exactly line up the way I wanted to, and it looked very out of place. I was going to almost have to like relayer And I think that could have looked really cool, but it just wasn't coming together. So I do end up wanting to put my journaling down there. And I do end up putting it down there in the end, and we'll get there. Right now, I'm just playing with a ton of kind of embellishments. All of these embellishments are from Solin Studios, which you can get, at least the last time I checked, on lilypad.com. If you were looking for some really cool themed stuff, definitely check out Solin Studios. It's SAHLIN Studios. She has a ton of really cool stuff. Lots of Disney, lots of, I say lots, but like there's Star Wars kits and there's Disney kits almost for every single princess. And I know for every different like Epcot country, there's so much that she's got over there, and you can buy, different versions of the kits, and the embellishments are separate as well. So if you're not an embellishment person, you don't have to buy into that. I definitely bought into that last year. Yeah, definitely last year when I started documenting the photos from the 2021 trip, because it's really hard to find scrapbooking content or scrapbooking materials that are themed towards like Disney and Star Wars and Universal and Harry Potter and all of that don't get really old really quick. There's not a lot of it. And it's all kind of generic, and sometimes it just bleeds into your photos too much. So it's really difficult to find good product, I feel like, and I would definitely recommend them and checking out a couple other artists on LilyPad. I've gotten quite a few things from that website, and the fact that they're printables is awesome because it's a bunch of stuff and you can reprint it and reuse it. Again, I don't like using the same thing over and over again. So if you'll notice, none of my backgrounds or anything like that are Star Wars, even though I wanted to use the fighter jets really bad. I can use that on a different spread. That all of the embellishments came from Solin Studios, but everything else is just normal open stock things. And I do try to push myself, and I think that's where I have a huge appreciation for Shamel Lane, because even with all of the Disney bounding and stuff, you don't see her use just like Disney generic product. So I always feel like that's really encouraging, and I definitely have tried to carry on that tradition or that style, because I do think it's easy to get like sucked into the consumerism of buying like the very Disney product to play with. As you can see, I am popping down some thickers. These are, again, Amy Tangerine. I do feel like when I'm in an Amy Tangerine mood, I'm the whole hog about it. I try to grab everything from my stash because I do feel it's a little bit brighter than my normal palette, and it's a little bit more poppier. I do tend to gravitate more towards that like Maggie Holmes style. So I do really, really love how this spread does come together in the end. But these thickers are from, I don't 100% know where I picked them up. Part of me wants to say it was Joann's, but I also don't recall seeing them the last time I was in there. Maybe I just wasn't looking, but they're just like a really soft wood grain. Again, I really wanted to pull that wood grain out from that first piece that I used. So I thought that would be really nice sitting on top of the black and white, just to add a little bit of pop. And they're really, honestly, I don't have a ton of thickers, so my options were pretty limited. And I definitely didn't want to go with anything like holographic or gold. I really kind of wanted to try to do this without bringing a metallic into the thing. And I know that's weird because normally I'm a glitter star fanatic, and would you believe it? No glitter stars make their way onto this entire spread. Really kind of proud of that, y'all. Seriously. But of course, I'm going to plop some stars on there. They're just not glitter, but that doesn't matter. Some other things I do, you see me kind of throw down what looks like a washi strip up there at the top. It's actually a piece of paper made to look like a washi strip, again, from that kit. Any and all embellishments. So the memories tab at the top, this is so cool that I bumped up on some, I end up bumping it up on some of my like foam adhesive, and I love that. I always try to create layers. I was also really, really tempted to do some mixed media underneath all this, and that was only because Shamel did it in her spread. I watched the video and, pulled from that. But I really was not sure how that was going to go down, and this page, the background page is so old, and I didn't think it was going to hold up to any kind of mixed media. And if it didn't, I was kind of going to be SOL because I only have one and it's ancient. So I really didn't want to mess with that. So I played around and kind of do another little cluster there in the center of the page with the dreams come true, geeking out, and favorite. I really wanted to, again, I'm still clinging to this idea that I'm going to get to keep that Black Spire outpost. But in all honesty, this is where I'm going to try handwriting on that denim paper just to see if I can do my journaling on it. So while I mess with that for a good little while, I was really hoping, I did lose my train of thought, didn't I? The dreams come true, geeking out, and favorite little cluster that's there. I do end up moving a label around. What I hoped to accomplish as well, you see that label underneath one of those pins. And I don't know if I've already done this in the video or not, but I had already put the adhesive on it and was going to tuck it down. I'm glad I didn't because I ended up moving it around way more than I thought. You'll also see a little vellum piece that's kind of circular. I was hoping to kind of have 2 or 3 different vellum embellishments that I had cut out, but again, I'm a rule of 3 kind of gal. I try to have little clusters, and I like to have things make sense. And I like my eye to float around, and I like to feel that balance. And I really didn't think that I was going to feel good about any way that this vellum was going to come together, because there was nowhere to really create a third cluster with a piece of vellum. Honestly, that little circle piece was giving me anxiety because there was no way to really turn it, unfortunately, to hide that line. And I didn't know how I was going to, oh, wow, the color just changed. Do you see that? Holy moly. I think it was just because I was getting morning sun. And then, wow, that's a huge change. So I did not do that, and I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm really sorry about that. Wow, that's kooky. As you can see, I've now pulled all of my journaling. I did end up reusing that polka dot page. And just to finish that thought out, I end up not using any of the vellum pieces because I just couldn't make them work. Then I had too much journaling, so I kind of had to edit post handwriting, which was really odd. But I was like, this is a whole lot of extra language I don't even need. So once I pulled out a whole sentence describing that I could add rum to the blue milk and tequila to the green milk, I was able to stick all of these little strips down. So I am using a little 2-way zig glue marker. That thing is the bomb. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. If it's not in your stash, it's a super great thing to have if you're an art journaler or if you're a scrapbooker. It's just perfect for all those little tiny jobs. And it means that you don't have to keep your glossy accents and get really pissed with it every single time it gets clogged. So that's been a really, really nice change. Then you're going to see me use that same zig marker to stick down that washi paper strip a little bit better. And then I get to go through all of my fun little thicker embellishments. And I pick out these stars because, we're talking about Galaxy's Edge. We got to use some stars. So these stars are from Citrus Twist. I will also go on to use some stars from a Doodlebug sheet that I have. I'll pull some yellow and orange off that. I do finally get to dip into my ginormous stash of enamel dots that I have from Alt New. I have a good assortment of the colors. I don't have all of them. But I definitely started to use my black and white ones, which was fun. And then I even pulled out my Jane Hatfield. Jen Hatfield kind of soft puffy hearts. And it's funny because in the spread and in the video, you're going to see me stick down this teal one. I end up pulling it up in post, and putting a red one down so that they're all the same clusters. Each cluster has like a blue star, even though there's a lighter blue in the center. It worked. And that was what I had. And I was just going to have to go with it. But other than the difference of blues, everything else is the same. There's like like medium-sized white dot, a small-sized white dot, yellow star, orange star, red heart, blue star. So I kind of had like a rhythm going. Truthfully, super happy with how this entire spread came together. I do wish I had done some mixed media. I probably could go back and do some splatter paint, but more or less, I'm really happy with it for a first go around after a really long break. I am, again, hoping to incorporate them more. They're just very time consuming, and considering that everyone's been kind of enjoying the lives, I've been using that as a platform a little differently. But never fear. I do think I'm putting the paper crafting hat back on, and whether it's Hobonichi stuff or whether it's this, I hope to be bringing more paper crafting or creative content, just to kind of break up all the planner babe goodness. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you have a fantastic May the 4th, and I hope that I get my collective crap together and also deliver a Revenge of the Sith video for you guys as well. If you're Star Wars fans, drop some hearts down below and let me know if there's any other Disney or that kind of scrapbooking content that you guys would like to see. Until next time, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for your support. I cannot wait until I can get back onto Wine Wednesdays with you guys in June. And until then, happy creating your own Wonderlands. Bye, everybody.